It's now the chance for ROA members to pose questions to the ROA Board. Just to remind you that before asking a question, if you could please give your name for the benefit of the record of the meeting, it would be appreciated. We've got 2 microphones roving the room, so any questions? So.
Julian Nettlefer. I've noticed in the magazine that there's very little lifestyle quotes or articles, and I questioned this at Newmarket recently. Some of the articles are quite turgid and a lot of the content could be put onto the website. Would it not be a good idea to broaden the appeal of the magazine to bring in motoring, eating out, other such things, with people going to Ascot so they know where they can eat, where they can stay, and that would increase revenues? And also, the website is a little bit dull.
Absolutely. I can assure you that the conversation along those lines is very much taking place at the moment at the Thoroughbred Owner and Breeder Magazine Board. We are in fact in the process of putting together a new website at the moment, so hopefully that'll be coming to you in the next few months. And we're also discussing the lifestyle angle as well. We get a lot of positive responses back about the magazine. It's a very well-loved magazine, so we have to be quite careful as to how we make these changes and how we make these changes. But certainly, your comments are very much taken on board and will be fed back to the next board meeting.
I will publish it if you need some help.
Thank you very much. Will.
Hi, Will Gordon. The elephant in the room must be the effect of Brexit on the levy reform, so I wonder whether somebody could give us the latest on what the government's currently thinking, other than trying to elect a new leader.
Thank you, Will. We've got Will Lamb here today from the BHA, who's been in contact with DCMS since the Brexit vote, so I suggest that we go straight to the horse's mouth on that question, if we may. Will.
Morning all, thanks Charlie. Yeah, we were of course straight in touch with DCMS Friday morning. No full update beyond business as usual being their mantra. They're keeping calm, carrying on, as you were is very much the mantra, as I say. We'll still be a member of the EU for a couple of years at least. There's plenty of speculation in the press, and for as long as we're in the EU, state aid rules will apply, so we'll still need state aid approval, is how we're working. That state approval is built on approval France have as well. Our informal soundings from the Commission, albeit before last Thursday, Friday, are positive. They don't see showstoppers, but we'll continue as we were. Domestically, we've had the key piece of legislation already passed. We just need a secondary measure this autumn. I'd say on the other headings as well, too early to tell, but the particular issue will probably be on immigration laws as well, whereby we'll certainly be pushing strongly, whatever happens, that there are special cases within racing, perhaps under a new Australian points system, that we have special cases particularly for stable staff.
Great. Thank you, Will. Any other questions? Sir. To your right.
Patrick Milmo. Item 2 of the formal part of the meeting was to approve 2 names as newly appointed directors of the board. I didn't vote either way because although as a member of the TBA one of the names means something to me, we had no information, at least in the booklet was issued of this meeting, as to the qualifications and experience of these people, what expertise they are going to bring to the board. The document contains plenty of information about everyone else, all the present members of the board, and those who were standing for elections. Is there any reason why we cannot be informed or given similar information about the appointments of directors beyond those who were elected?
there's no reason at all. It's purely process. It's the way the process has taken place before in years gone by. The process is that members of the board and members of the ROA feed potential nominations through to the nominations committee, and the nominations committee get together and put together a shortlist, and then come to a decision around who the newly appointed directors will be. In terms of openness, I take your point. Is there a reason why they shouldn't be in the annual report for this year? Probably not, and certainly that's something that we can take away and look at putting together for next year.
Well, I may be wrong about this, but I think this is the first year where this procedure has been invoked in relation to non-elected but appointed members of the board. So I think it's rather important that the President is got right.
Absolutely. No, thank you very much indeed, and I'll take this offline and have a look at it for you. Thank you. Ed.
Ed Arkle. The President mentioned in his speech the importance of the Gold Standard Award for racecourses. I was just wondering if we could have a recap on the criteria for that and where you see it going in the future.
Thanks, Ed. I'll pass on to Alan Pickering, who heads up the Gold Standard Committee.
Ed, I don't know why you waited that long to ask me that question. You could have asked it of me on Saturday evening when you were in your flip-flops, shorts and T-shirt waiting for the Bee Gees concert at Lingfield. But
you forgot the sunglasses.
I'm glad to see you're better turned out today, allegedly. But yes, I think it really is important that we help owners fulfil the dream of ownership. For most of us, it's a dream that will never be fulfilled. When it is fulfilled, apart from the nightmare of paying the bills, it remains a dream, but it's a dream that comes together before, during and after a visit to the racecourse. And only 1 in 10 of us can go home from a race meeting on a high with a winner's bag, a Lingfield goodie bag under our arm. The other 9 out of 10 would go home very much down in the dumps if they hadn't been felt to make special during their attendance at the race meeting. And making people feel special doesn't just involve spending money on them. It means attitude of staff. I recently went to an independent racecourse where the racecourse management had issued special badges for people who had runners in a special race. And the special badge, I arrived at the owners and trainers room, and the man on the door, the Gestapo on the door, said, "Can't come in here, one of those badges." And I said, "Why?" He said, "Never seen one of them before." So he then went to the help desk, an oxymoron if ever there was one, and the lady at the help desk said, "Never seen one of them before, he must be a charlatan. I'm an owner, let me in." So a wonderful idea fell at the hurdle of delivery. So it's very important that the ROA works with the racecourses in dynamically, and dynamically is a word that's a buzz phrase in British industry today, but it's got to be a dynamic process. The old Gold Standard Award, it was very much you had to work hard to get it, and you really had to be almost criminal to lose it. We wanted to build more dynamism into that, and as Nicola said earlier on, to put some competitive element into attaining and retaining the Gold Standard Award. I would like, as chairman of the Race Day Committee, to congratulate both the large groups. I think Jockey Club is probably leading by a couple of lengths at the moment, but I know, Ed, that you and Susanna have it on your objective list this year to make sure that at least 1 or possibly 2 ARC courses have the coveted ROA Gold Standard emblem on their literature. But the 2 main groups are working very hard across their diversity of courses to improve the owner's race day experience, and the independents too, in their own independent, iconic way, We're trying to make sure that a day at the races for an owner is special. And we now built in objectivity into the way in which the process is undertaken. We have about 8 people made up of ROA board members, staff members, who visit racecourses regularly as owners, but also visit it with their clipboard to assess the way in which owners experience a day at the races. And that isn't just about pampering owners, it's making sure that our horses are well treated too, well treated particularly if something should go wrong during a race. Recently it was drawn to our attention that an injured horse was really left in agony because although there was veterinary kit on the course, there was no vet willing or able to use that kit. So we're now asking every racecourse manager, how are you responding to the horses comes first mantra? We visit all the courses at least once a year. We get together then in October and work out which 6 large courses deserve to get the award for the coming year, which 6 medium and smaller courses deserve to get the same accolade, and then we choose a winner in each of those 2 categories. And you only have to see the joy evidenced by those who won those 2 top awards when they were presented at last year's ROA Awards in early December. So it's a very objective process, it's a competitive process, and to win it doesn't just mean having deep pockets, it means having staff that have the right attitude in order to get maximum bang for the racecourse's buck in trying to improve the race owner's experience. If it wasn't for owners, there wouldn't be racing, and therefore owners do deserve to go home on a high, whether they've won or lost. See you Saturday, Edward.
Thank you, Alan. I'll just add, if I may, to Alan's response there, that the feedback from our members is very much taken into account. We really encourage our members to give us feedback on their race day experience, both positive and not quite so positive. We genuinely take that back to the race courses and discuss it with them. So to anybody that's racing, please do make sure that you make contact either online or through the office via email or phone and let us know of your experience. The back.
Morning, Charlie. John Warboys from Shortgrove Manor Stud. An ROA AGM would not be an AGM unless somebody got up and ranted about winnings. Year after year, we talk about this situation and we get modest little increases year after year. No breakthroughs, nothing decisive. We hear about initiatives which seem to disappear without trace. And here we are, another year on, in my opinion, exactly the same position. This is actually getting as boring as the Chilcot inquiry. I think my question to you is, how realistic is any idea of getting a pool betting company going in which we have a significant enough part to feed income in a significant way back into winnings? Because we can talk till we're blue in the face about getting more owners into the business, more horses on the race course, but when you are only offering the abysmal winnings that this industry offers, then you don't have an answer.
Thank you. Yes, I mean, I will start by saying that I think 10 years ago prize money levels were at about 100 million, and today we stand at about 135 million. Racecourse contribution has gone up from somewhere in the region of 25 million to just over 60 million last year. So there has been progress, and some praise should therefore go to my predecessors and those in racing in general. I think everybody agrees that prize money is the mechanism that feeds this industry of ours, and we need to keep the march going. In terms of pool betting, I can assure you that there's a lot of work going on around this particular subject. And as Nick said in his speech, it is about unity. And I can assure you that through the Horsemen's Group, through the Executive Committee, through the Members' Agreement, a lot of work is being done around trying to bring that unity to the table so that the future of pool betting is owned by racing and we can all enjoy the rewards. Do I have a crystal ball? Does anybody have a crystal ball? I don't think we do, but I can assure you that a lot of work is being done to try and bring as much unity together in this regard. It is the industry needs it. So.
Peter Condell, following on from that gentleman's question, it's all very well to say that the prize money's gone up, but the number of races has increased dramatically and the jam has been spread too thinly. So it's not really a good excuse saying it's gone up to 135 million when races have gone up by 20%, I don't know, and with much more divided races than now before. Now, last week I had a share in a horse which won a 0 to 70 at Carlisle. We didn't get £2,000 in our Weatherby's account. That is not acceptable.
I don't think there's anybody in the room that would disagree with you, Mr. Cundall. As I say, I think that a lot of work is being done in this regard, and certainly going through the fixtures and funding process this year, there wasn't anybody in the room that wasn't trying to do right for the industry as a whole. I can assure you we are doing our best to enhance rewards wherever possible. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. I think that brings the questions. One more? Sorry, my apologies.
Mrs. Dodd. Since I've been in racing, I've noticed that there seems to be a great difference in the quality of the horses between the north and the south. And not mentioned, I don't think there's too much of a difference in the quality of the yard and the training, but definitely in the horses. And I wonder whether the ROA have an initiative in mind to redress this situation.
Certainly. Stephen, you're on the National Hunt Committee.
It's obviously a major issue in the jumps review that happened last year, and as a result of that, a separate group have been put in place with Richard Wayman chairing it, looking specifically at the challenges of jump racing in the north and the barriers to that. But it's quite interesting, as part of a discussion at that meeting only 2 or 3 days ago, looking at the latest statistics, flat racing in the north is thriving. And actually, in terms of increases of horses in training, I can't remember the exact number, Richard Wayman over there will, but there was a 10, 12%, 11% increase in flat horses in training in the north this year, year on year. So I think as part of that challenge for jump racing, obviously flat racing is thriving, and amongst many of the issues being looked at is obviously people in the north aspire to run their horses at some of the excellent flat courses in the north, the run at York, Chester, etc. But there isn't the same desire to have horses in training jumping. But there is this major difference that we've identified, and people are working to look at how they can try and bring some recovery to jump racing in the north.
Thank you.